So remember that moment, 2010, Winston Reid's last-minute goal against Slovakia secures New Zealand's first ever point at a Football World Cup. 4 years later, he's touring here as a star player with English Premier League club West Ham United. But what do we really know about him? This Kiwi sportsman who now earns more money than most of us could ever dream of. Jessica Much with Winston and his new wife at home and behind the scenes of West Ham United.
Do you have a Ferrari?
I don't have a Ferrari.
London, where the money's on show. Home to an unassuming Kiwi at the top of his game. Welcome to the private world of Winston Reid.
Hello, how are you?
Come in, good.
Wow, the first thing that strikes you in here is your penchant shop for shoes. That's very impressive.
Yeah, don't know why, but I just love sneakers.
Because have a look at these ones.
Yeah.
This is a little bit of style going on here with the studs there.
Yeah.
Is that a bit of your fashion coming out?
Yeah, I'm into fashion. Classic white sneakers.
But when it comes to decorating, it was Winston's mum who took care of the art.
The apartment was pretty bare, and you know how mums are.
Yeah.
And the football memorabilia.
So there's no mistaking also that you're a professional footballer when you have a look around this apartment.
This moment of New Zealand's sporting history is enshrined in his hallway.
There'd be such jubilation for New Zealand if they could just find a goal.
And all our memories.
The ball is good, and the goal is good!
The World Cup goal that captivated a nation.
Did you know it was going in the moment that your head connected with the ball?
No, because I think I closed my eyes.
New Zealand incredibly have drawn!
I remember we were just running towards the fans, and we got closer to the edge, and there was sort of like a ditch a couple metres down, and then everyone was starting to fall in and people had to pull themselves back.
What a moment for the Kiwis!
He got booked for celebrating with his shirt off, but says it was totally worth it.
If you haven't sort of had that moment where you get goosebumps everywhere, it's hard to describe, but you know, it's the best feeling in life, and you know, I was fortunate enough to do it.
Winston Reid's goal was voted New Zealand's best sporting moment of 2010. That same year, he was signed to this club, West Ham United, and became part of an elite group of New Zealanders to play in the prestigious English Premier League.
Walking out to a roaring home crowd of more than 30,000 is pretty unique.
In all honesty, I don't really think I'm star.
They chant your name in stadiums.
Yeah.
Even if he's on the sideline occasionally.
You get used to this lifestyle though, right?
Yeah, they just need probably maybe a heater button in the winter. Things can get a little bit cold.
This corner. Oh, Reid is up there. Beats the 19. It's a terrific climb. Square to Nolan!
Winston is a fan and player favourite in a football-mad country.
Winston Reid puts West Ham in front.
Where players are treated like superstars.
So this is, I'm sure, your favourite part of the changing room? Do you hate it?
Yeah, I try to avoid it.
Do you just try and sneak around, maybe just head straight for the showers?
You can pay your way out of it, really.
How?
Pay a fine.
Is it worth it?
Some situations it can be.
All part of the deal for a Premier League star defender.
You get used to people washing your boots and putting your clothes on your spot and stuff like that. You do get used to people cooking you food or whatever you want. When I look back maybe in like 10 or 15 years, I think probably I'll appreciate it more than you do in the moment and sort of thing, because now it is sort of everyday life, I guess.
Winston began playing junior club football on Auckland's North Shore. When he was 10, he moved with his mum and stepdad to Denmark.
Being 10 years old, you know, moving away from friends and family and everything you grew up with was kind of difficult. And, you know, obviously I wasn't very happy about it, let's put it that way. I got to the, first day of school and, you know, obviously I didn't know the language and, you know, this sort of the first thing is, okay, how are you going to make friends here? So basically it's out, you know, out in the playground grab a football or whatever, and you know, from there on in, things got a lot more easier.
So football kind of helped you adjust in a lot of ways?
Exactly, you know, I didn't need to speak the language to communicate with the kids there, and you know, 20 minutes later I had friends.
Winston says he wouldn't have this life if he'd stayed in New Zealand.
I think the quicker you can get out of New Zealand, and I know this might sound a bit harsh, but the quicker you can get out of there, as for a young kid that wants to do especially something in football, the quicker you can get out, the better it is. Because nowadays you see players or whatever, when they're 17 or 18, they're already in first teams. When I was a kid, I was 14, 15, I was travelling Europe, I was playing in countries, Italy and Germany, playing against other teams.
But the pull of home was still strong. In 2010, he decided to play for the All Whites. Flight delays meant Winston was late joining the team.
I remember I sort of got in roughly about 6 o'clock in the morning, and then 9 o'clock we had training. So I went up and slept a little bit, got on the bus and said hello to everyone, and everyone was sort of laid back, and from day one started making fun of me, so you know, it made me feel more at home.
In what way?
Basically saying I was, you know, the biggest whorey they've ever met. in a funny way, of course, but yeah. I mean, they'd never met me before, you know. I could have been anything to them.
So did they kind of expect you to be this Mr. Suave European guy, and you came back as this big Kiwi?
Yeah, pretty much so, I guess.
Winston may have a Kiwi accent, but to West Ham fans, he's one of their own.
So what do you think of Winston Reid as a player?
I think he's good. I think he's a good defender. He deserves to play for West Ham, of course.
What does he need to work on?
Nothing really. He's good. That's all I can say.
So good, in fact, Winston Wiremu Reid of Tainui descent is one of our best paid sportsmen.
What would you say to New Zealand kids who are watching this? Can they expect a pretty healthy income if they become a professional footballer?
Yeah, I guess they can.
Can you give us a ballpark figure? There was speculation that it was around 150,000 New Zealand a week. Is that right?
I don't think it's that much.
Ballpark?
No, I mean, probably we do have players on our team that do make that much.
But Winston says the lifestyle comes at a price.
We do have to make sacrifices in our life. You know, it is a pretty hard season that you do go through, and you know, you're always under a lot of stress and pressure. But at the end of the day, I've always wanted to do this. You know, I've always wanted to go out there and, you know, play week in and week out.
And this week he's playing at home in New Zealand. His West Ham United teammates are all coming with him, taking on the Wellington Phoenix.
Do you think they've come to terms with the fact that it's 24 hours, or are you just not going to tell them maybe?
I'll tell them when they get to China. And they've got another 12 hours.
He hopes they'll be able to teach young Kiwis a thing or two.
Every young kid always needs a bit of luck to break into a first team or whatever. You always need an injury, a dip of form, or someone maybe to get moved on. You need a coach to have a bit of belief in you. You need, just in general, people to believe in you. And young players, there's a fine line between making it and not making it.
So why did you make it?
I had people that believed in me. And, you know, obviously that helped me out to get to where I'm today.
One of those supporters is his new wife, Yana.
I always get the dirty job.
Yeah, basically I'll cook and then you'll clean up. I'll make the mess.
They've been married 5 months.
So you can have your own cook show in like 10 years. Now you have to explain to the camera what you are doing right now without crying. What are you cooking first?
Seafood pasta.
He reckons he's pretty healthy as a professional sportsman, but he does have a sweet tooth.
I have one. It's my fourth. Who's counting? Oh. No.
Delicious?
No, pretty good. I always go digging for small slices of New Zealand, even if it's like peanut slabs or whatever. I found some burger rings the other day and they went pretty quickly.
Because no matter where he lives or where he plays, Winston will always be a Kiwi.
Good. And Winston and the West Ham team will be playing in Auckland this Wednesday and Wellington on Saturday, with more details on our Facebook page.